Welcome to Bad Movies, the show where we talk about the most appalling stuff ever put on screen. I'm Matthew Scofield, and if you're watching this, I am dead. Well, I'm not really dead, but I do feel like it. Now, I talked about a lot of horrible films so far. Of course, there's The Phantom Menace, Norm of the North, and Trolls 2. So I thought I'd lighten up a bit with a film that's still really bad, yet not as bad as the others. By a little bit. The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause. Now, as one of the worst Christmas movies of all time, you must be wondering why I'm going to be talking about it in the beginning of August. Well, number one, Christmas is reserved for Jack Frost, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, and Santa with Muscles. And number two, it's a horrible film all year round. From a creepy fireplace to the actors staying quiet for 16 minutes until they talk again. Should someone tell them the scene is over? This is definitely a disaster I want to go into. So let's dive into it. Its plot, its reception, its problems, and how to fix it. This is Bad Movies. Now, this is a new section where I talk about the plot of the film so you get a better idea on how bad it is. And I will be talking about the plot again once I get to the problems because this really is a bad one. It's about Santa Claus' wife having a baby, which is the laziest, most predictable story to go with. I guess it makes sense that in the first film, a guy who doesn't care about Christmas becomes Santa. In the second movie, Santa gets a wife. So yeah, it only makes sense for Santa to have a baby we only see in the last 3 minutes of the film. Turns out it was a false alarm, and the baby's not coming up until, again, the last 3 minutes of the film. Although, that kind of seems unrealistic since, she was in a lot of pain. But afterwards, Santa has a meeting with his magical peers. The Tooth Fairy is played by Art LaFur, the Easter Bunny is played by Jay Thomas, Cupid is played by Kevin Pollak, and Jack Frost is played by Martin Short. Basically, a group of actors who are dragged into this movie by their horrible agents. Turns out the evil Jack Frost is trying to promote his image around the world and try to get his own holiday, which I guess is not okay. I'll talk about him later in the problem section, but Jack makes a deal with Santa that he would work for him. Mrs. Claus wants her parents to be there when she has the baby, but one problem, they don't know that she is married to Santa, so they try to make it look like Canada, which must be hard because it doesn't even look like the North Pole to begin with. So Santa takes the Sandman to put the parents to sleep and bring them to the North Pole, which is basically kidnapping, but who cares? I bet they kidnapped all the actors to star in this film. He also takes his daughter-in-law after the parents creepily ask him to take her. I would show a clip of that, but I bet you get the idea. So he takes them all to the North Pole, and if you're wondering where the in-laws were, they were probably in the trunk of a car. While there, Jack Frost, but he doesn't eat floss. Jack Frost learns about the Escape Clause, a magic snow globe that helps you travel back to time when you weren't Santa Claus and quit being Santa. A magic snow globe that helps you travel back in time to a time where you weren't Santa Claus so you can quit being Santa Claus by a magic snow globe. I'm a rider. Oh, God. I think I have a concussion. So after taking the escape clause, which, may I remind you, he had no trouble doing because there's absolutely no security, he finally uses it to go back in time and become Santa Claus. So this guy isn't Santa. This guy is. This guy. This guy that's scarier than Krampus. You better not pout. You better not cry. You better not be a brat to your parents, or else this guy will bite off your head. He knows where you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He has a list of all his victims. Better not get on that list today. Hey, you like the song? Great, because it kind of fits this character because he is very creepy. Anyways, after a surprisingly kind of catchy song, Santa gets a snow globe and everything goes back to normal. And thank God, because I do not want to live in a world where this guy is Santa. So Jack unfreezes underdeveloped characters, and the in-laws learn about him being Santa, which they're totally okay with, so what's the point of all that? And they get a baby in the last 3 minutes. Finn. So if you can tell by the dumb looking poster and trailer and the plot, the film is not great. The movie is seen as the worst of the franchise and it's pretty horrible in general. In Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 17% approval rating from critics and a 39% from audiences, with a 4.7 out of 10 on IMDb and 32 out of 100 on Metacritic. This movie officially kills the franchise that used to be a critically great and would smash the box office. So what are its problems? Well, let's find out. Number 1, cheap looking production. Do you remember that small theme park called Santa's Village you find in the mountains or those small towns? Do you remember how fun it was? Yet it looked very cheap? Well, that is basically what the North Pole looked like in this film. Then you have to get through the weird makeup and costume design and that horrifying fireplace. That has been in my nightmares for years. All the set design makes this film look like it was in a budget of $12, when in real life it was actually made in a budget of $12 million, which really isn't that much considering how much an average film costs. Still, that fireplace is terrifying. It's just stuck into my brain. Number 2, dry acting. Now, I know I keep bringing up the acting in all the episodes of this TV show. Even in my reviews, I keep talking about the acting. And really, these films are very bad. The acting in these films are probably some of the worst aspects. But here I'm not going to be talking about the acting being bad. I'm just going to say the acting is very dry, which, even though not being that much of a difference, still is very bad. Most of the actors aren't even trying, and the actors who are having emotional breakdown. This can be described as lazy. And I'm not even kidding, there's big jumps of time where the actors don't talk at all. Did the director forget to say cut? Number 3, bad CGI. The CGI in this film seems like what you'd see in a direct-to-video sequel. Remember how I said the film looked very cheap looking? Well, this is no exception. And the CGI can actually be very scary.
I don't know what that was.
I really wonder what the budget was. Well, looks good. I think I'm gonna let you make this film. Oh, wow, thank you. You'll not be disappointed. Alright, so we're gonna give you $500 for this movie. Oh. Wait, what? Well, you see, we're Walt Disney Studios, so we just don't really care anymore if the movie's gonna be good or not because we're gonna make money anyways. So, yeah, we're just gonna give you $500. And if you're not a success, maybe we'll just buy Star Wars and do the exact same thing. Disney. Number 4, Martin Short. Now, a lot of people say his performance as Jack Frost is the highlight of the film, and to that I say, okay, it's your opinion. Even though I don't agree with it, I'm not gonna hold it out against you. Do I think he's good in this film? Not really. Now, I haven't seen Martin Short in any other movies in this one. I know he's in a lot of movies with Steve Martin. I know he's gonna make a TV show with him later this year. And besides that, I don't know if he's good or not, but he's definitely not good here. He plays a guy who's trying to destroy his career. I mean Jack Frost, who's tired of living in Santa Claus' shadow. Now, he acts like a creep around elves played by children, and then he learns about the escape clause, a snow globe that takes you in time for where you weren't Santa. But before he does that, he has to destroy a bunch of stuff, sabotage the work area, and of course, destroy the Christmas star for the Christmas tree. For whatever reason, they finally starts his evil plan around 40 minutes into a 1 hour and 30-minute movie. Then he becomes this abomination impersonating Santa Claus, giving gifts to all the emotionally scarred children around the world. Do you want me to sing that song again? Of course you don't, because I'm a very bad singer. But anyways, Tim Allen gets the escape clause, and the actors try to finish the movie as soon as possible. You see what is wrong with this character? He doesn't impact the plot until halfway through. When he does, the storyline is rushed. And when he doesn't, he is sabotaging the entire factory in the smallest ways possible you can imagine. Really is a bad character. Number 5, the lazy, ridiculous, awful plot. Now, I just talked about the plot 2 times, but let me tell you the worst parts of it. The idea of Santa Claus having his outlaws come to the North Pole, parents sending their daughter to a place they've never been to, Jack Frost wanting more attention, which somehow is bad, Santa Claus having marriage problems, and holiday people having a committee. The whole movie is just really stupid and doesn't add up. They have the worst ideas for a Santa Claus film, and even though not all of the 3 movies are that smart, this is just baffling. Whoever thought of the ideas of this movie really did just deserve $500 for this movie and maybe a AAA battery for the special effects. So now you know the problems of the film, so that just makes one question to be answered. Can we fix it? Now, these are always the toughest part of these episodes, aside Trolls 2, where I took the easy way out. But I do have an idea on how you can fix it. The whole plot where you have Mrs. Claus having a baby and all that stuff can be kept in because it kind of makes sense. The first film has him become Santa. Then he marries Mrs. Claus, and here he has a baby. The villain could be Jack Frost, but definitely not Martin Short. I bet he's a good actor, but he's definitely not fit for this role. I'd say Jim Carrey would play a perfect fit for this menacing, but sometimes over the top and fun Jack Frost instead of this dumb goofball who does nothing that bad for most of the film. So Jim Carrey would be a nice pick for Jack Frost. Santa has a baby at the beginning of the film instead of the end, and even though he enjoys him, until he becomes too stressed with the holiday season and being a farmer. And that's basically the whole idea of the film. He's becoming too stressed and not appreciating his life. Which, now thinking of it, is kind of a plot point from Shrek Forever After, but I'll try to make it much better than Shrek Forever After, trust me. So he has the baby, but then he starts becoming stressed. And then the in-laws, no, let's take out the whole in-law thing. That was just confusing and probably the stupidest part of the movie. And I do not want kids to be learning how to kidnap someone. So the whole in-laws plotline can be basically thrown out the window. Instead, let's just have him being stressed of all the work he has to do in the workhouse, and also the baby and becoming a father and getting ready for Christmas. So then he starts wishing that he won't become Santa Claus. That is when Jack Frost, played by Jim Carrey in this version, would come in and make him go back in time using the escape clause, which will not be snow globe because that would be just stupid. Maybe something else, but definitely not a snow globe. But anyways, he uses the escape clause to take him and Jack Frost back in time so Jack Frost can become Santa Claus. And then we get to the second half of the movie and we see Tim Allen as he was in the first movie, just he remembers all the stuff from the second and third. Now, this is really the heart of the movie as we see him start to appreciate his life and become lonely and see how his character has changed, how his character arc has really changed throughout the three films. So this would basically be the heart of the movie where he's not happy with how his life was. And he starts noticing how much becoming Santa, how much marrying this person, and how much becoming a father has changed him as a person, how it's made his life so happy. And then a couple scenes, maybe we can cut to Jim Carrey acting like Jim Carrey. Because that would make the film funnier and more direct to kids. So then in the third act, he tries to become Santa Claus again, goes to the North Pole, see how much things have changed as Jim Carrey's character is running the whole place down to the ground. Then I may keep this part a little bit vague, but sooner or later, maybe after a chase scene or something, he finally goes back in time, finally becomes Santa, and then everything is back to normal. The end. At least that's how I would change the plot of this film. Please tell me in the comments how you would change it, as it would have heart, comedy, and would be a fun family film. I thought Jim Carrey being Jack Frost would definitely lighten things up instead of him being a dumb goofball who does absolutely nothing, maybe be a more menacing threat. And I thought that they should have spent more time with Tim Allen being, not Santa Claus, because that would be a very fun plot line that would also have a lot of heart, and you actually see a character arc for him. So that's how I would change it. Of course, I just thought of that in under 20 seconds, so maybe not really that much of a change. Maybe I would have worked on it a little bit more. But still, it would be better than a cheap-looking, badly written cash grab from a studio who has really been doing that a lot recently. This movie is the definition of a tired franchise running out of its magic. There is obviously no effort put into it, no logic, no care. It's just the creators continuing a franchise they are tired on working on. And it's a film that is proof that a franchise that overstays its welcome is going to slowly decrease. And that the third film is always going to be the worst in the franchise. No, seriously, Jaws 3, Jurassic Park 3, Tokyo Drift, The Dark Knight Rises, Austin Powers 3, Lion King 3, Spider-Man 3, Poltergeist 3, The Matrix 3, The Hangover 3, The Godfather Part 3, The Terminator 3, Alien 3, X-Men 3, Home Alone 3, Blade Trinity, Star Wars 3. I could keep going. But if I do, I'm going to lose my mind, so let's not do that. But anyways, this is Bad Movies, where we talk about the most appalling stuff ever put on screen. And have a good day.